Hi everyone, our journal page today, and I'm so excited. I just finished making this stencil. It's on acetate, and I just cut all these shapes with an X-Acto knife. It took me yesterday several hours, but I think it was worth it. And basically I've just looked on the internet. I looked for free printables. I've just put down shattered glass, and I found something like that, and this was my guide to making this very loosely. So we are starting with this. I'm working on this black paper. This is a journal I made by gluing down pages A3 black paper back to back, and I'm going to do this stencil with gesso, and afterwards I am going to add color. Right now I just want to go all over with the gesso, and this is also going to take some time because I've got a lot of area to cover, but I hope it will be worth it and that this stencil will work as I have pictured it in my mind. I just had something on my mind and I just had to make this stencil. So I'm just going around with a makeup sponge, and I'm making sure I don't have too much on the sponge, so I will have a nice print through the stencil. And it's a little bit difficult here in the corner, but I'll manage. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Just going to go all over and make this. You can already see how it looks. I'm planning on doing the same thing on this side. I think I will start with this and we'll see where it gets me. Again, I have some idea on my mind, but sometimes things change as I go. So I'm trying to hold the stencil and continue, and I'm thinking that maybe towards the middle I'll try to just fade with the gesso so it won't be too harsh between the two sides. So, and I've showed you before in other videos, to create a fading effect you just start with a loaded sponge and just go until you don't have any more. So that's great, the fading effect. So I'll continue with this and then I'll be back. I'm back. So finished stenciling. I'm already excited of what I've got here, but I'm moving this aside for a minute. I want to show you how I already have a focal point. I want to show you how to make it because I'm also excited about that. That's my focal image, and it's so easy to make, and the variations are endless. So I'm putting this aside also, and before I forget, this that I've printed on my simple inkjet that I have, this can be also be used. Just I'm going to glue this for in one of my journals and use it as a background and work on it, so this also will get used. I'm moving this aside and I want to show you how I created the focal image. So it started by just cutting this image from a magazine. I've got so many cutouts. I usually use them to create silhouettes, uh, and most of the time I will work directly on the cutout. So as you can see, I just cut the general shape of this, I don't know, model here, and here it is. I didn't go into details of anything, just the general shape, and here also just the general shape. Now when I've done it and I was going to start working directly on this, I decided that I liked it so much that I've just went ahead and put it again on acetate and created this stencil. This is from this cutout, and I had another one. Here it is, just these cutouts, and of course you can do as many as you want, any size you want. So I already have this stencil that I can work on anything. And just to show you, this is another thing from a magazine. It can be, I can already see that I can make a very interesting page with this kind of silhouette. Or like, look at this. This is so interesting as a general shape, and it doesn't matter the details, you just cut what you want. So all this aside, and now what I've done is just I've taken a paper that is a little bit thicker than printer paper. This is 140 grams because I knew I was going to work on it with some things with water. I just took a permanent pen and went and traced my image. It doesn't have to be precise, just a general shape that you are going to work with, and you can always use again and again. So I've got the general image, moving this, and now what I've done is I've taken a brush with hot bristles and the gesso I have here. Now this is optional, you don't have to do it. I just wanted some texture before I apply any paint, so I just went and done this, so I will have texture. And it doesn't have to be like this, it can be like this, you can do circles, whatever. I just wanted some texture. So, and I'm doing it quite quickly, it really doesn't matter. And I'm just keeping the black line so I can see and cut later the shape after I'm working on it. So now I've got this, and I will give it a blow from my heat tool, and I'll be back. I'm back. So this is dry. Now I want to color it, and you've got lots of options. You can stamp it, you can color it. I've used watercolor pencils. This is Stadler. I've got this set, I think more than 3 decades. This is something from the cheap store. You can use chalk pastels, you can use gelatos, anything that is water activated. And all I've done is just start putting down color quite randomly. Like so. And it doesn't matter the how or where, just that it picks the texture that I have. Of course, as I said, you don't have to do this. You don't need, if you don't want texture, you don't do it. Just color however you want. There are no rules. So just putting down color. I want red. Something like that. And now just taking a brush and a little bit of water. And now I'm activating it. Now you can do, this is quite rainbow colors. You can do whatever colors you want. And I'm just trying not to create mud because all the colors I have got here. I don't care if you can still see the pencil strokes. It really doesn't matter to me. I'm just, again, it just adds to the texture, it adds to the whole. Don't care. I'm just making some smudges of color on my image. And now I'm taking the black and going around my image on this side, maybe on the other side also. Right now I will just do this. Again, water, activating it. And as you can see, I'm not trying to be precise. I'm looking for smudges of color and nothing else. If I feel I need more, I will add more. Like so. Now I've got texture from the gesso, so I can also do this and let it spread wherever it wants to go. But not everyone likes this effect. Really, just do whatever you feel is good for you. So basically that's it. I need to let it dry, and all I've done more is just went over again with the permanent marker and made a line and then fussy cut it. But this is it. And of course, as I said, if you want, you can also go on this side if you feel that it needs more emphasis, like so. It really depends on what you like. Here it is, just adding a little bit, and then the black permanent marker and fussy cutting it, and that's my image. And it can be so versatile. I'm thinking next time I'm going to do something like that, an image like that, only with a lot of stamping on it. So moving this and moving my focal point, because I still want to work on my background. Here is my background. I want to add the same colors that I used on my focal image. I want to use here. And again, this is quite random. I am going to put down color like this in several places. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I just want to make like a mirror. If I have this color on my image, I want them on my broken glass pieces. Best explanation I can give. So I want to mirror the same colors. So as I said, this is quite random. I'm putting down the colors. Just making sure to spread them and not have the same color in the same place. And what I'm going to do is again just activate it with a brush with a little bit of water. That's it. And I can also put two colors on one piece of broken glass or whatever this is, shattered glass, or just one color. There is a lot of play here and no rules, just what you like. So I'm going to continue doing this and just put some color in random places. You see I have a yellow and this whatever magenta on the same piece. Really doesn't matter. So as I said, going to continue doing this. I'm not going to cover everything, just add randomly in several places, and I'll just be back. I'm back. So finished putting down some color on several pieces, and I had adhered my image, my focal image. Now I just want to add a little bit more on this area, and I'm going to use this handwritten script stamp. I'm putting down some white acrylic paint here and spreading it. I need a very thin layer, not trying to get the acrylic paint inside the details. So putting it here, and I think I'll just cover it a little bit like this, and yeah, just more detail. It seems like I can't leave a space free. It doesn't matter if it's black or if it's white. Okay, this moved. Never mind. Of course, I will need to clean this stamp right away so it won't dry on. Yeah. I really like it. Okay, so just for finishing touch, I'm taking a permanent marker and just fixing here this section. Yeah, I thought about writing on top of my image, but I like it as is, so I'm leaving it be. And that's my page. Hope you liked it. Thank you for watching, and thank you for leaving me comments below. I'll be seeing you in my next video. Bye for now.